Welcome back to the shop here. Today I'm gonna try and make another pot. Um, that other pot didn't work out, so I ended up making it into like a pencil holder. So you put your large pencils in here, and yeah, just a simple pencil holder. Really like it. But anyway, today we're gonna try and make a pot either out of this or this one. I've got the actual pot with me this time, so I can measure. I don't know if this one's gonna be big enough once we slice off that cracked up edge, but we shall see. Too much cracking. You have to find another one. That one as well has got a lot of cracking, so I don't think we're gonna have enough room for a whole pot. Go find another piece of wood. And I figure I'd stop in and check on the chickens. See how they're doing. We got some eggs. We laid an egg over in the corner. Alright, we're out by the wood pile. Let's see what we had. This is all just apple wood here. Just see if there's a piece in here that might. Oh, I like the shape of that. That might work. That would probably work too. All right, we'll take those two pieces in and see what we can cut out of that. All right, we're back in the shop here, and I'm going to cut this log and just see how far this cracking goes down. See if we could use it. Ooh, that looks really good. I like that. I should have cut off a bigger chunk so I'm not wasting all this. If we're going to use a pot in this, maybe just go a little bit bigger. Look at that grain. That looks very nice. Okay, we're gonna head over to the belt sander here. Try to get some of this bark off. Really like how that bark is coming through on that. That looks very nice. All right, perfect. All right, now I'm gonna find a Forstner bit that's about this big. And there might be an instance where I might just end up cutting this top lip off. That way there's no gap in there either, and then the pot won't move around. So I might end up doing that because, yeah, that actually would probably work better. This would fit, definitely fit. So we'll start by cutting a hole and just seeing what we can come up with. Just gonna make a little mark here. I'm gonna sand this again. Okay, so we'll try to get in the middle of that there. It's gonna take a while. So this is taking a little bit. So I'm gonna try putting a a different size bit in here, seeing if I can take some of the inside out and help with that bigger one. There we go. That's nice. And I think I'm going to keep that ring on it just so you can pull it out of the pot. All right, I had to sand the top off a little bit more just to make it fit. And then I had a little scuff on there. But anyway, fits really good. Pot fits nice. So now I'm a little worried about this one because if you look at it, it's like wet. The wood is very wet still, which doesn't make sense because it sat there for like a while. I mean, this wood has been sitting for a bit. So I am gonna start doing some of the sanding on the edges with the sandpapers. Just see what kind of grains we want to pull out and which ones we want to get rid of. I really like having this extra bark on there. I think that looks very nice. But yeah, I'll get going on that. Alrighty, so I got all the sanding complete, and now we're going to get going on putting a coat of polyurethane on it. I was going to stain it, but I think I'm just going to go straight poly and see what that looks like. Might amplify the rings and that bark a little bit, but we'll see. And there's the first coat of polyurethane. We'll let that dry and then see what it looks like after that's all done. All right, I got that first poly coat on. I really like the way it's looking. Need some sanding, and then we'll put a bunch more coats on it, but I like how that's turning out. Yeah. So that's basically how you would create a planter for a pot or a pot holder out of a branch of a tree. And then while I had the poly out, I put a final coat on the owl, and then I stained those two owls, and then I put a coat of poly on the pencil holder. So, alrighty. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Goodbye.